This is an audio test.
Beyond. Okay, well, it's almost 9 o'clock. Welcome, everybody, to our meeting today. Commissioners, we're grateful to have you here. Thank you for your time. Our director and attorney, Tim Davis, thank you for your help today. We'll start with our commission work. We have the minutes from our last meeting. Is there any corrections or additions for that or?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, please.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Dr. Burke, we have director's report next on the list. Please go ahead.
Thank you, commissioners, for being here today and allowing me to present to you. An honor to share a little bit about what we've been up to, the commission, the past couple of months. We have completed the pie stone closure as far as the redistribution of their assets. We spent about 4 days on their campus and interacted with around 13 other charter schools in the Treasure Valley who came to claim items that they thought would contribute to their educational programs. There were some really great teams working hard, sweating hard, and it was a successful endeavor. We are looking at renewing 13 schools in February, and as part of the renewal process, if the school is not accredited, it requires a site visit so that we can verify their educational components within their program. And Monique and I had the pleasure of visiting 2 of our schools that are up for renewal in February. I put some photos in there from our visits. We were able to visit Syringa Mountain School in Haley, Idaho, and we're given a tour and just saw the incredible work they're doing with their students and the art that they have and the creativity, and some great conversations with their board chair and director. And then we went on to the Pocatello area, Fort Hall, to visit Chief Taki Elementary Academy, and we're able to see their new building, which is really exciting. The kids are obviously very proud of it, and we're also honored with some great conversations with their board chair and their director as well. They were just really great visits, and they just, they fill my cup, I like to say. We are currently in the process of reviewing a new application. We've sent the initial application review out to the application team, and so they are reviewing it for their final revisions. As I mentioned before, we have 13 schools up for renewal in February, and there are a lot of things that we have to do to get them ready for that meeting. And so this is just a status report of where we are in getting those schools ready and some of the work that we've been up to. We have observed 11 board meetings, and there are 2 remaining. We have observed all of the required lottery. We've completed all the required lottery observations. 6 of them, we completed 7 of them. 6 of them did not require a lottery because the seats available to the students. We have completed 13 renewal meetings, and as I mentioned in the previous slide, we have visited the 2 sites that needed the visit due to their lack of accreditation. Lots of work there. You have a better copy of our budget in your meeting materials so that you can actually see the numbers. But during the FY26, the commission experienced several staff vacancies, as you know, resulting in personnel expenditures that were lower than budgeted. These vacancies also reduced related operating costs, including travel, professional development, technology, and administrative expenses. In addition, legal costs and professional development expenditures were lower than historical levels, contributing to overall savings throughout the fiscal year. As of June 8th, 2026, the IPCSC has expended $529,225 of its $730,200 FY26 budget, leaving approximately $200,975 or 27.5% remaining, with 94% of the fiscal year elapsed. Both personnel and operating expenditures continue to track favorably. Current projections indicate the commission will conclude FY 26 in a strong financial position. The Public Charter School Authorizers Fund currently has a cash balance of approximately $831,657. Staff also identified an opportunity to maximize the use of the remaining general fund personnel authority before year end, which is projected to preserve approximately $21,500 in dedicated fund resources and further strengthen the commission's long-term financial reserves. Staff are currently actively completing the fiscal year end, and we are reviewing expenditures, reconciling accounts, validating year-end balances to ensure a smooth transition into FY 27. At this time, no significant budget concerns, fiscal year-end risk, or compliance issues have been identified. Do you have any questions?
Thank you.
Very good.
Great job.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thanks so much, Director. Next on the agenda is a consideration to lift the notification of fiscal concern Monticello Montessori Charter School. Director Burke, would you like to
Yes.
open that up for us, please?
Commissioners, Monticello Montessori's charter school was provided a notification of fiscal concern in 2021 due to a decrease in enrollment, legal fees from formal hearings, and several poor financial practices that resulted in a negative impact to the school's cash flow. In 2022, the school business manager identified that the school had failed to submit taxes to the IRS, as well as failed to pay penalties for various quarters from 2014 to 2023. The business manager and administrator engaged with the IRS, financial advisors, and legal counsel to attempt to resolve the fees quickly and accurately. The school provided records to IPCSC staff of the school's accounting of all taxes and penalties. However, neither the school nor IPCSC staff were provided with a total balance of fees to include penalties from the IRS. The Idaho Public Charter School Commission voted to maintain the notification of fiscal concern for the school at the June 8th, 2023 commission meeting. The school, Monticello Montessori, received an exceeds or meets standard rating on all financial measures for the 23-24 annual report and an exceeds standard rating for all financial measures on the 24-25 annual report. The school is requesting to have the notification of fiscal concern lifted. And with that, Monticello.
Welcome. Please come up and have a seat.
Hello, I am Shauna Nunez. I am the business manager at Monticello. This is Linda Hawley, our chair, and Tyler Hancock, our treasurer. And just to kind of continue on with what was already said, let me kind of catch up. So again, back in 2022, we received a notice that there was some federal IRS taxes that hadn't been paid, dating all the way back to 2014. And so we went through all of our records and we kind of picked apart, determined which quarters were not paid, and we notified our board administration as well as the Charter Commission exactly what had happened. And like you mentioned, since 2023, we've had the notification of fiscal concern. Since that time, we have conducted a thorough review of financial records. We've compiled and provided documents related to taxes and penalties. We've worked closely with professional advisors, legal counsel, and we've maintained constant communication with the IPCSC staff. And we have worked to address the historical IRS liabilities. The school took proactive steps to ensure sufficient funds were available to satisfy outstanding obligations. We started by selling our modular classrooms. We had 2 of them that we were no longer using. We sold them to another district in Idaho Falls. We took those proceeds and we deposited them in a special reserve fund. And that fund was only and is only used to pay off any outstanding IRS debt that we are obligated. And we have not spent all of it. We still have about $54,000 remaining in that account. And although it's not anticipated that we are going to spend it, it's gonna sit there just in case on the off chance they come back with more interest or more penalties. The IRS hasn't been forthcoming with any debt still owed. I have reached out to them and I have not heard back from them. And that's kind of a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is they still don't have anything, and the bad thing is it can potentially continue to earn interest, I guess, against us.
Go on IRS liabilities. You go to the slide, I think this is number. Under IRS liabilities paid, have a breakout of when when each one of them were paid in November 2025, and then also July 2025 notice. Each of the quarters represented it on there as well, and then the amount due and the amount paid, $68,909 in December of last year, 2025, and then $5,695.10 in August 4th of 2025 as well. Let me go to the next slide, I guess, the current status. We've already went over this a little bit, but reached out to the IRS beginning of this year as well. No response as of yet. We still have the fund, 54,000 that Shauna mentioned in the special account or the special budget that's only going to be used for that. And then Linda, I guess, can take the last two slides if that's okay. The strong financial.
Okay, since the fiscal concern notification was issued, Monticello Montessori, we've demonstrated really good financial improvements. So the 23-24 annual report exceeds or meets the standards on all financial measures. The 24-25 exceeds the standard on all financial measures. And these results reflect that we have a strong fiscal oversight at this point. We have improved our financial controls, we have responsible stewardship of public funds, and we have long-term financial stability. So we feel that why our notification should be lifted is because the circumstances that led to the original fiscal concern notification have all been addressed. And today, Monticello Montessori can demonstrate that we have improved financial management practice, resolution of our known IRS tax liabilities, dedicated financial planning and oversight, strong financial performance over multiple consecutive years. And we exceed standard ratings on all financial measures. And lastly, no additional IRS notices have been received following payment of our last outstanding balance. So we feel that we have demonstrated accountability, transparency, and sustained physical health at this point. We do conclude. Okay. So Monticello Montessori acknowledges the financial challenges that led to the notification of our fiscal concern in 2021. And since that time, we have addressed our historical financial issues. As I mentioned, we've worked diligently with professional advisors and with the IRS. We've paid all our known delinquent taxes, interest, and penalties. We have achieved strong financial performance ratings and established sound financial management practices. And based on our background of these actions and our outcomes, Monticello Montessori respectfully request that the Idaho Public Charter School Commission lift the notification fiscal concern at this time.
Any questions? Please,
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman. I realize it's old history, but how did you go almost 10 years without paying taxes? Were you being audited annually and the audit didn't pick up the fact that there are no taxes being paid?
So truthfully, I am not entirely sure how our previous business department managed to go that far, that long, without paying the taxes and not having anything mentioned up until fall of 2022, when we received our first notice. I do know that at the time, under the previous administration, the school was doing less than ethical financial practices. I know we're paying payroll with credit cards and, you know, all sorts of stuff. Since then, all of that has been corrected, brought up to date. We have checks and balances now that make sure that everything is getting paid on time and in the correct fashion. It goes from my desk to our administrator's desk to our federal programs director, just to have that additional oversight. And then we also bring it to the board. We have created what we call a financial dashboard. And in the financial dashboard, we present that at board meeting every single month, and it goes through all of our liabilities, it goes through all of our deposits, and it kind of lets the board know exactly what's going on, just because when you pass out a 12-page budget report, a lot of things can go unnoticed in that because it's a lot of information. And so by doing it this way, they can double check. So I do feel with kind of having that oversight and those additional steps to make sure that we're doing what we need to do will really help us in the future and in the long run.
Sure, follow up.
Commissioner,
Are you doing an annual audit, an
Yes, we
independent
are.
audit?
We are.
Are you filing your 990? Did you file 990s during that 10-year period?
Yes, some of them were done. And from what we have found, some of them were done, but not all of them. And some of the 941s were not done. I am not sure how that got through. I can probably review the audits to see how they might have slipped through, but we do have an audit. It's done with Quest, and Kurt Folke does our audits.
There are financial penalties for the 990 as well.
And I'm hoping that we have settled all of our penalties, but I will definitely look into those.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
thank you. Other questions? Okay, we have a motion.
Chairman, I'll make a motion to lift the notification of financial concern for Monticello Montessori Charter School as of June 30th, 2026.
Okay, is there a second?
Awesome.
All right, thank you. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Armador, am I hearing you?
Yeah, I did say I apologize not to be there in person, but the airplane did not take off this morning.
That makes it a real problem. Okay, I think we got all ayes, so congratulations. Thank you for all your work. I know it's been quite a deal for you. Yeah,
Good job.
thank you. Okay, new charter school application, Ignite Leadership School, Director Burke.
Okay, Commissioners, the new charter school application for Ignite Leadership School was initially received on February 24th, 2026. IPCSC staff collaborated with the school to provide feedback and develop the final application and evaluation on May 25th, 2026. The final application is available as attachment 4A. The school intends to operate in Canyon County, Idaho, beginning fall of 2027. Staff analysis is available as attachment 4B. Pursuant to that analysis, staff recommends denial of the charter application for Ignite Leadership School pursuant to Idaho Code 33-52055. The application does not satisfy the requirements of Idaho Code 33-52055. 2A2, Section 2, and 33-5205 2A, Section 4, because it does not provide sufficient evidence of student demand, adequate evidence of anticipated funds, a complete facilities plan, or a complete pre-opening budget. Additionally, the application does not provide sufficient supporting documentation for key revenue assumptions reflected in the financial plan.
Is there someone here?
Yes, Ignite.
Please come up, have a seat. If we could just take a minute, if we just go down the line and introduce yourselves and what your position is with the school, so we get it on a recording.
I'm Deja Crossley, I'm the vice chair.
I'm Candy Massey, I'm the secretary and the treasurer.
Stephanie Wright, director.
Andrea Weaver, director.
Jennifer Mays, director.
William Weaver, board chair.
Okay, thank you. Please go ahead. Yeah, presentation for us.
Good morning, members of the commission. We are Ignite Leadership School. We are proposed K-12 charter school opening in the fall of 2027 to serve the families of Caldwell, Nampa, and Valley View school districts. Our goal today is to show you how Ignite will directly address overcrowding in Western Canyon County while delivering a proven leadership-centered education model. As you can see, our board structure, well, they can't. Well. Can I go back? There it is. Our school is only as strong as its governing body. Our board brings localized, hard to find education experience directly to the table. We have certified administrators, data compliance experts, multiple special education specialists, and a treasurer with over 2 decades of public school finance and clerk experience. Ignite Leadership School model will go beyond traditional academies by intentionally cultivating character alongside standard coursework. We'll fill a critical gap in Canyon County. We have chosen to replicate a proven framework, the Leader in Me model, to ensure students take active ownership of their learning through tracking their own growth.
Our mission statement is, we will inspire and elevate our students, staff, and families to build integrity and celebrate successes. We will view challenges as opportunities for growth while nurturing a community of balanced leaders for tomorrow. Our vision statement says, empowering students to become resilient citizens and leaders within their communities. We are proud of our mission and vision statement as they are truly our foundation. This is the core reason we recite these at each board meeting. They frame our discussions as well as guide our decisions. We created these with the Leader in Me 7 Habits framework in mind. This is founded in the beliefs that everyone has the potential to lead. When we look at our core culture, the 8 habits are split into 2 parts. As you can see by the picture up here, first part, habits 1 through 3, are like the roots of a tree. These are the habits that each person develops inside of themselves. Habits 4 through 8 are represented by the trunk, the branches, and nature around, and how they work together. Habits 4 through 8 are what each person uses to effectively work with those around them. Ignite Leadership School is not just another school. It is a personal experience for each person involved to build character, leadership, culture, and academic skill. The 7 Habit Leader in Me approach has proven to empower students, educators, and families with the essential leadership and life skills and prepares them to excel even into the future.
The demand in Western Canyon County has increased over the past 5 years. Farmland is rapidly converting into residential developments, pushing regional school capacities beyond their limits. Demographically, our boundaries area serves a high percentage of underserved population as well. Ignite will directly ease district strain. Ignite will offer an integrated academic curriculum with social emotional learning found in the Leader in Me program through both traditional and hands-on learning. This framework will support the whole child in setting goals and building character that will support students in their post-secondary successes. This is what makes Ignite unique and what sets us apart from other schools in the area.
Our curriculum will be traditional, and our educational program will enhance that traditional curriculum by combining the Leader in Me model with our ACE approach. The ACE approach is A stands for accountability, holding students responsible for choices and learning. C stands for consideration, building a safe, unified culture. E stands for equipping, giving students real-world scheduling, problem solving skills, and personalized, wildly important goals. Those are their WIGs. Starting in kindergarten to prepare them for higher education and careers. The Leader in Me model is embedded into every aspect of our curriculum, not just an auxiliary class, excuse me. Students do not just look at grades. They interpret their grades, their own benchmark data within their personal portfolios. Furthermore, our unique 4-day instructional model leaves every single Friday open for continuous scaffolding professional developments to ensure our teachers execute this model with fidelity. We believe high expectations spark high achievement. Our 5-year ISAT proficiency targets are intentionally set to exceed the historical baselines of our surrounding local districts, backed by an aggressive multi-tiered system of support, our MTSS system, and an administrative team that will track data monthly. We are fully committed to shrinking local achievement gaps by at least 30%.
Financial forecast, budgets and facility plans, Ignite Leadership School, budget of conservative enrollment projections, which protect the school from overcommitting resources and under-delivering on student needs. By planning for stable or modest enrollment rather than optimistic growth, we ensure budget stability, staffing continuity, and long-term sustainability. This approach allows us to avoid reactionary cuts and instead make thoughtful, student-centered decisions. Every dollar should be tied to a clear educational outcome, whether improving literacy, expanding CTE pathways, or supporting student wellness. Strategic spending means prioritizing classroom impact, evidence-based programs, and investments that directly support student achievement. It also means regularly evaluating programs to ensure they deliver measurable value. Our background in school finance has taught us how to balance compliance, transparency, and innovation. We understand the complexities of state funding formulas, attendance-driven revenue, and multi-year forecasting. This experience helps us ask the right questions, anticipate challenges, and we will reinforce the decisions support long-term school health. With a finance committee, we will reinforce the importance of oversight, accountability, and clear communication. The committee's role is not to just review numbers, but to ensure the budget reflects community values and student priorities. We advocate for accessible financial reporting so families and staff understand how resources are allocated. Strong schools depend on strong community relationships. Listening to parents, teachers, and local partners help us align district goals with community expectations. Transparency builds trust, especially when discussing enrollment trends, budget constraints, and long-term planning. Strategic planning ensures we are proactive rather than reactive. Aligning scheduling, staffing, and resource allocation with long-term goals helps us to maintain stability even when enrollment fluctuates. A well-structured plan allows us to prioritize what matters most: student learning, teacher support, and operational efficiency. By grounding our decisions in conservative enrollment projections, aligning spending with educational priorities, and engaging our community with transparency, we can build a school that is financially stable, academically strong, and prepared for the future. At this current time, Ignite is still working on finding a feasible location within our attendance area. While there is plenty of land available, buildings are a commodity. That is where our realtors are helping us.
We do not plan on moving forward until there is a facility. But an approval will give us the backing we need to seek grants and other resources of funding.
Thank you for your time. Does the board have any questions?
Yeah, I think, well, questions, commissioners? I mean, we need to have you address the problems that the director brought up. Any thoughts on those? I mean, we could all start asking questions, but it is gonna focus on resolving those issues that are shown as deficits.
So one of the things that we did address in our presentation is the facilities. We have been working with realtors. There are, as of right now, several of us have been on school failed because of buildings, not having a building. So we all see the importance of having our own facility. We really do not like the idea of starting with a rental and then having to move out because, you know, that's the problem that they have seen everywhere that they've been at. So let's say we've been looking strategically in Western Canyon County. But it's mostly farmland right now. Schools are growing, the ground is turning because they're building new neighborhoods and subdivisions. But I'm still trying to find either a partner from a developer or what's the other word I'm thinking of? Oh, and try and find grants, but without actually having saying we can move forward with the blessing of the state. A lot of people are saying, we don't want to talk to you.
Yeah, a lot of strong conversations with people about financial backing. It just keeps pending on, we'd like to see approval, then we'll move forward with funding. So we're kind of finding that that's why we chose to go ahead and move forward this morning, is a lot of the people are looking for that approval before they want to move forward in those funding options in the conversations we've been having.
Certainly a thing that we always deal with as schools have to overcome. Commissioners, Commissioner Henry.
So the staff did a very thorough job of looking at your application. And I commend your effort, but clearly you haven't identified for us student demand, adequate funding. You talked about the facilities just now, a operating opening budget and revenue assumptions. So, you know, most of those are tied to how many students can you have and then your financial side. How are you going, how do you address what the staff found was shortcomings of your application?
So
Yeah,
we'll run all this through the chair just because we have a big group here, so please go ahead.
Chair. Yeah, we did take it line by line and I had checked off every single one thing and we had addressed it. So I'm going to assume I missed something else. Cause I had all the revenues in there. I had a balanced budget.
What about student?
What I did is I took all the surrounding schools and we had for where we're looking, and I took about 3% of their enrollment as a conservative, thinking that that's what would come to us based on overcrowding, and that's what I budgeted on.
One other question. Many of the charters are seeing a decrease in enrollment because of the tax credits. And, parents are making decisions which impact and charter schools. So, it's kind of it's a challenge to identify how many students you might get.
Definitely, yeah.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? I'm gonna speak from my own perspective. I mean, I'm not quite sure that you're ready yet. What help me, Director. So if they're not approved today, or how can we help them? Give them some more time to get things put together.
They would have 90 days to, at a minimum, to reapply, so they would have time to reset and work on what they need to address if they wanted to reapply then. And they would go through the same process with us, the evaluation of the initial application.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Could you see the budget that we put in there, or was that attachment not working with what Candy had addressed with line for line? Could you see that in there?
Yeah, we used the budget that you submitted. That's where we came, our analysis is based off of that.
Will that come with some specific feedback for us?
Good, Director.
The feedback that we gave you in the initial application review was related to that budget in particular. And so we would start that process over with you guys should you reapply.
And part of the importance of the budget is number of students. And a little bit more evidence of how you're gonna have those students. Hey, please.
Okay. We did do a poll, we sent that through Facebook, blitz. At first, we did not get very many. We got, help me,
17.
it was very minimal, less than 20. But from that, when we started our petition, we were seeing that Western Caldwell, there's a huge homeschool group out that area that is looking for, or is not happy with their current schooling systems. And they're looking for other charter schools and other options. There was one area of Wilder that said they were happy with it. So we're like, okay, we won't focus on you guys. But Western, like from, well, we're looking at in about Florida or Indiana West is where we're looking and focusing on. And so that area in particular, even now works because we've actually put out more Facebook feeds and say, hey, please, give us some feedback on this. We're up to.
We're over 70, just because so what I did is I went and because we did see that we were looking at that need. So I went a week ago and I placed it on a Nampa mom site, Caldwell Moms, Caldwell Community, and Valley View District pages. We threw that out there and we got about 70 something responses that day, which showed it was between a 78 and 82%. Yes, we're interested in a new charter school out here. We're not happy with our current school. So that's kind of where we've started with some of that interest that we saw that you said we had a gap in. And so that was kind of our first dabble of getting it out there in the exact location and community that we're looking to build. And so right now we're sitting at an 82%. Yes, we're interested in a new charter school, a leadership school, and that it was like 87% was no, we're not happy with our current school. And so we're just trying to beginning to address some of those deficits that we didn't realize we needed.
Commissioner Quinn.
I read through your packet and I'm very impressed programmatically with what you're suggesting. And for your program to be successful, the issues of finances that I think are really critical. Based on what you anticipate your expenses to be in terms of instruction and staffing and everything, do you have an estimate of what population you need to cover your budget?
Ms. Massey.
Thank you. We're looking for between the 270 and 300. I know our budget was higher than that, but that was because it was based on 3% of all the students in the schools that we had polled. Working in charter schools, realistically, we don't get that. You have a lottery, say you have a lottery of 100, you can count on 50 of them actually showing up, so.
Any other questions? Have a motion. Is there any kind? Are you ready for that?
Well,
Mr. Henry?
I can't approve this with the conditions that we have that aren't met. If we deny it at this point, let's give them an opportunity to come back, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, the 90 days, kind of get things put together.
Okay, I move we deny the new charter school application for Ignite Leadership based upon the 5 Idaho Code salutations 335205-2A 4, 2, 2, 2, and 2, which address student demand, anticipated funding, facilities plan, operating budget, and key revenue assumptions.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Commissioner Armador, any further discussions? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, thanks for being here. As Commissioner Quinn mentioned, I'm a big fan of the 7 habits thing. And just I've studied it quite a bit. So it's kind of interesting to see a school that's going to focus on that. Please work with the director and let's get these things resolved so we can take another look at it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate being here. Okay, next on our agenda is consideration of pre-opening conditions. Director Burr.
Commissioners, at the Commission's August 14th, 25 meeting, for Bion Academy's application for a new charter school was approved for a 3-year with 5 conditions. The 3 conditions below have been determined to be met. Condition 1, charter holder provides IPCSC evidence that a facility lease agreement is signed or otherwise delivered by March 1st, 2026. Condition 2, charter holder provides the IPCSC evidence of a balanced year 1 budget based on enrollment from the spring 2026 lottery by June 1st, 2026. And condition 3, charter holder provides the IPCSC evidence that all memorandums of understanding required to operate the school are signed or otherwise delivered by June 1st, 2026. The following conditions have been determined to be unmet. Condition 4, charter holder provides IPCSC evidence that all grants and contracts that are a part of that year 1 budget are signed or otherwise delivered by June 1st, 2026. Based on IPCSC staff review of the email and documents provided, it appears that most of the required contracts have been finalized. However, the school has not yet executed an information technology services or IT contract. Pursuant to the school's application, technology support is described as an important component of the school operations, including network infrastructure, software implementation, device deployment, instructional technology, and ongoing technology management necessary to support the school's educational program and daily operations. According to the school's June 1st, 2026 email, the school has indicated that it has identified vendors and/or has authorization from the school's board to execute agreements following successful negotiations. The second condition determined to be unmet is condition 5. Charter holder provides IPCSC evidence that sufficient transportation has been secured by June 1st, 2026, to the extent the holder intends to provide transportation. The school has acknowledged that it intends to operate a transportation program and has identified a transportation provider. However, according to the school's June 1st, 2026 email, the transportation contract had not been executed because the required procurement process had not been completed. The school states that transportation services are anticipated to be operational by August 2026.
Okay, thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, why don't we start and have you introduce yourselves and your position, why you're here, and then we'll get started. Well, let's start down here.
My name is Miguel de Luna. I am the board president and chairman.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Brandon Dersom, head of school sports, Chairman.
Tom Moore, Vice Chair, Treasurer.
Last name is Moore.
Moore, 2 O's.
And Mr. Chairman, my name is Tony Nelson, and I'm the Chief Officer over Instruction and Assessment.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you being here. As you've heard the director start with the conditions. I'm assuming this has been more of a challenge, Mr. Durst, than what you started with, because you indicated at our last meeting that, oh, just give me 6 months, I'll get it all taken care of. And it's just definitely been longer than 6 months. So our focus, and I recognize the work that you put in, it's always more difficult than what we expect it's going to be. Our focus and our scope of what we need to take care of today is those conditions. They were to be met by June 1st. And that's what we need to look at today to make a determination. So Mr. Durst, I'll let you start.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I provided the staff a little bit of a presentation to be able to go through quickly to help the commission understand kind of where we are today. Since we came to this commission back in August, we've had a couple changes to our board. My mother had to leave the board, one, because I got hired, and there would be a conflict of interest if she continued to be on the board. She also had a pretty severe health diagnosis, and so she's been dealing with some chemotherapy, and so that's been her focus. And we've also added a couple board members. We added Mr. Randy Haverfield to our board. He's three-term board member, council member from Nampa, who joined our board, and we also added Mr. Christopher Milner as well. Otherwise, our board remains as it was before, but we believe we have a really strong board that's got ties to the local community, as well as a lot of good insight into the rest of the operations of what a charter school look like. Going to the next piece, I want to make sure I share who our executive team is. The two ladies who are here didn't want to come up and join the rest of the guys is first is Bobby Greger. She's our board clerk and our registrar. She's done a phenomenal job. I'll tell you some of the work that she's done that helps address some of those concerns related to the conditions. And also we have Corey Middleton, who's been an executive assistant, who's just done a phenomenal job as we've hired our staff. You've already met Mr. Nelson, who's got a 30-year track record in the West Ada School District as an administrator. And we also hired Dr. Greg Wiles as our chief executive education officer. And Greg is obviously coming from Nampa Christian as the superintendent the last 13 years in that position. So I think it stands to reason that our staff is highly qualified at the executive level side of things. Next, I want to start off by sharing something really big. As Director Burke indicated, prior to March 1st, we had secured a PSA to procure a building. It was no small feat. I think the board commission recognizes that was probably the biggest challenge, that hurdle that we had to get, was to find some place to be that would be sufficient for our use. We did that, and we did that in spades. We acquired for the Treasure Valley natives, we acquired the former Zilog building, which was a giant building off the interstate by the water tower, 110,000 square feet, 12 acres, with 70,000 square feet of indoor athletic space, which is quite important for our program. That building was secured through a bond supported by a bank, Washington Federal, at an interest rate of 5.95%, which is exceptionally low for a first-year charter school anywhere in the country, including here in Idaho. The seller of the building believed in our school enough to be able to put himself on the hook with a $1 million subordinate bond. And so I think that is, indicative of kind of the financial footing that we're sitting on. It's very strong. We are in the middle of a remodel process. I can tell you yesterday, I was pushed to make sure I got all the accent colors identified, because they're going to start painting the second story next week. We'll be ready to open on August 24th. Our building will be ready. Next, I just want to kind of share a little bit more about our accomplishments here, because this should be a celebration. We've done, just frankly, more than I think I even thought we would be able to get accomplished. As Pollyannish as I was, Mr. Chairman, 9 months ago, I think what we've accomplished has just been exceptional. We've hired the executive team, which I've already described. We've filled all certified staff positions for our school year for next year. There are many schools, charter schools and traditional schools, who as of today couldn't tell you they've done that. We have. And that we haven't just thrown warm bodies in the building. 11 of our classroom teachers for elementary, 8 of which have advanced professional endorsements. That is an exceptional percentage of advanced professional endorsements. And my research shows that there's not another charter school in the state of Idaho that has that percentage of advanced professionally endorsed teachers in their elementary program. So we've got highly qualified teachers. And of the ones who aren't advanced professionally endorsed, 2 of them have master's degrees. One of them is coming out of the administrative role from the CUNA School District to come back to the classroom to work for us. So highly qualified staff. Our classified staff, which is a struggle for many schools to be able to hire. We've hired 90% of our classified staff. I think we have 2 positions left to fill on the instructional side of the instructional piece. And many of them actually have certified teaching positions or have been certified teachers, which is, additional support that our students are going to get. Director Hedrick and Commissioner Hedrick and former Commissioner Kohler, expressed concern about making sure we had the class sizes small for our K2 environment. We took that guidance to heart, and we've done that. I'll get into a bit more about that. We've kept those class sizes very small for our K2 to make sure that those literacy skills are getting into. Our secondary staff, all certified staff in secondary have been hired. They either have a master's degree or higher or advanced professionally endorsed, which means they can teach, they'll be able to teach classes at the college level as well and be able to get us credit for that. All of our athletic staff has been hired. I could go on and on about those great folks. We've got some really high-end coaches. We recruited a guy from Florida to come up. And soccer guy is a USSF B license, which is very high in that world. We hired the former, and then you had women's coach, who was a coach for 13 years. She's our women's soccer director. I know there was concerns at the original meeting related to Title IX. I can confirm we have invested heavily in women's sports in our school. We believe the girls that come to our school deserve to have the same opportunities, and we're investing heavily in them to make sure that happens. As far as vendors are concerned, this goes back to condition number 4, Mr. Chairman. I want to make sure I address it directly. As of this morning, as of last night, engagement letters for all items that related to the June 1st meeting email I sent to Director Burke have been completed. We have an IT contractor, we have a security contractor, all other vendors have been procured. We are ready to roll. I want to just step back and provide the commission a little bit of explanation as why it took until today or yesterday to get that done for those last 2. It was really driven by logistics. We had a pipe in our first floor that had to be removed that required saw cutting of the floor. That created a hazard. IT and security need to walk through a building to see what they're doing, to be able to get a visual on what they're going to be, the services they're going to be providing. It was a safety hazard to let them in. Our contractor said there's no way you're letting a bunch of people walk through my building the way that the building sits. I had to wait until the building became safe for them to traverse before I allowed them to come in and be able to participate in that. That's the explanation as to why it took till June 10th. I knew it needed to be done. I made an executive decision that I, valued the timeliness on completion of our project, of our remodel, and the safety of the vendors over this June 1st deadline. And maybe that was the wrong decision, but that's the way I went. And we've still got it ready to go. Our IT contractor is committed to a 6.5-week deployment to completion with a completion date of July 24th, well before our first day of school. Same thing with the security contractor. They've said they'll have it done before teachers report on August 10th. So those will be ready to go. I don't have listed here as a vendor, but it is one that we've got. We went out to bid on a food services contract, RFP, recognizing that we won't be able to provide in-house food services, that we can prepare ourselves. Napa School District has agreed to provide those services, and so we're doing a fee-for-service agreement with them, which is being negotiated right now. Their attorney has been up in Lewiston on a trial for the last couple of weeks, and so he's not been able to review the stuff. But we have an agreement, we have an RFP in place, and or an agreed proposal in place. We're just finishing out the kinks there, so we will provide that as well. So I think that piece is completed. On the transportation side, I'll just quickly address that. We believe that we exceeded the statute. The state transportation department still wanted us to follow their process. That's why we are today. We tried to do an accelerated process where we directly reached out to every approved vendor first to go that direction. And that was largely driven by logistics. We had to complete our registrations before we could go out to bid on transportation. You can't bid on a transportation service that you don't know where people live. And so we had a logistical problem there. We are assured by, we had multiple bids on transportation. They've all assured us, even with the extended delay to July 23rd, that they will still be able to have service operational on the first day of school. So that will be there. It's in our budget. We're ready to roll with it. The last piece I bring up is enrollment. Here's the story. there was some healthy skepticism about whether or not this school could actually attract any students. We are fully enrolled. We have 700 students fully registered in our school. We could have, if the commission had allowed us to, I could have 1,500 students in my school today. I've had that much demand. I think I have 200 or something still on the wait list. Most of the students that have dropped off the wait list are because multiple families have multiple children and they couldn't get all their kids in at the same time. I think that's just it's a remarkable story. Here's the other cool thing about that. We talked a lot about needing to be able to be attractive to students who have left the public education system and get them back into our system. We have 30% of our student body is low income. For a charter school, that is very, very, very high. We have made a point of reaching out to families who are normally neglected in the charter school space to bring them in. That was a key piece to what we were trying to do. And a lot of those are families that come from our Hispanic community. That was deliberate because we want them to be a part of our school. We also have about 15% of our students come with disabilities, with some sort of documented learning disability or through an IEP or a 504. These are unusual numbers for a charter school, but they're things that we've done. And speaking of special education, we've already fully hired our special education staff. That is also remarkable in and of itself. We've got all that done too. So we've got contracts in place. We're ready to run. We have been moving at 100 miles an hour since August 14th. I don't even know what day it is half the time because I've been working so much. But I think what you can see here is there's been so much accomplished, and we would welcome the commission's questions. We'd also appreciate a motion that acknowledges that work and allows us to continue to move forward. I would also just tangentially add, the CSP grant is due next week. The motion that the board makes here makes our ability to be able to apply for that grant a reality or not. And so we need to be in good standing with the commission to be able to apply for that grant. We didn't get on the first time because there are questions about our building and our enrollments. We now have the evidence to be able to provide that we have those. But I'd be happy to answer more questions about any of those things. But appreciate the opportunity from the commission to be able to speak.
So Director Burke, do you have these contracts? Please.
Yes, we have the links that he sent in the June 1st email.
Okay, but the most
The
recent,
most recent ones, no.
I can, Mr. Chairman, I can have those emailed to you right now. They're available. They were approved by our board last.
we have to have them. Okay, commissioners, questions? Please.
I made that motion.
You did.
Those 5 conditions with no ambiguity. I told you you had to meet those deadlines. And I think those are hard deadlines, but I understand that there are glitches in the process. But if we set deadlines and you don't meet them, you put us in a bind and you put yourself in a bind. You've obviously done a lot of work, but I'm at a quandary here. Whether to support this or ask for revocation. And I think it's great you got a certain enrollment of students, but again, 2 reasons that we do we set conditions and set times to them is you need to demonstrate to us that you can achieve those things, number 1, and number 2, the deadlines demonstrate to us that you realize you have some responsibilities to the public and the dollars that you're going to spend. So, just my statement. Sure.
Thank you. Other questions? Commissioners? So, Father pondering, we recognize that you fall under the innovative school opportunity here with the 3-year situation. And there's some uniqueness here because of that. Commissioner Henry makes a good point. So, even with the situation with not being able to let your IT vendor in, because, talk to the director. Let us know what's going on instead of, because we don't know of what's true and what's what's not. That makes sense, if there's no communication.
Yeah.
So I think that.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just address that briefly, if you please. So I did have communication with Director Burke. In fact, I told her where we were at. I've been having that communication with her since March about where we are with relationship to condition 4. At that point, what we indicated to the commission staff was when we looked at condition 4, we saw that as aspirational, not as a literal statement. And the reason for that is because there's not a single school district in the state of Idaho or LEA that has every single contract signed by June 1st. And certainly I don't believe it's the commission's intent, I would hope, to set a standard that's impossible to reach to a first-year charter school. We have done, I mean, and I appreciate Commissioner Hendrick's point. The point is you need to show that we're ready to go, right? We need to show that we have done the work that we need to do. And I think we have. I think the things that we have accomplished, there are charter schools that are supposed to open in the fall that this commission has approved that are still recruiting staff, classroom staff. And there's no discussion around revoking their charter. We're fully staffed. We've got staff who have left positions, who are at the high end, the top of their profession, who would be left without any place to go. We've got 700 students who are ready to attend Provide Academy. And I appreciate the position that puts the commission in. But we have done an immense amount of work. I think when I looked at that condition for Mr. Chairman and Commissioner Hedrick, I looked at it as hey, before the state starts dumping money into this, we need to see that this bird can fly. That's the way that I viewed it. And we haven't just flown, we've soared. Look at what we've accomplished. We secured a bond. And I really sincerely appreciate where the commission is coming from here on this, Commissioner Hedrick. I really sincerely do. But I think if you look at the totality of the situation, revoking a charter school like ours would significantly chill anyone else who come before you that would be looking to do the innovation. Because if we haven't met the standard, no one else is going to be able to. We've got 700 students, we've got a highly qualified staff, we've got a facility with a bond. And who knows what the bond markets do in the state of Idaho if they find out that a commission was going to revoke a charter under these circumstances. That could be pretty damaging. I'm not asking for the commission to overlook what we've done. I'm asking for the commission to look at what we've done and celebrate the success we've had the same way that our families are. I mean, Commissioner Burke saw us at work last, 3 weeks ago. We came and cleared out Pie Stem and did a bunch of stuff. And in fact, we helped Peace Valley get their stuff load up into their truck. We've done a lot. And so I communicated to Director Burke very early on that it would be impossible for us to have every single contract signed by June 1st. So, Mr. Chairman, I agree that communication needed to happen and it did transpire. We've got our contracts, everything's ready to roll. We're ready to go before this meeting even started. And I believe that we have a reason to hope that the commission would see that and would be able to support us continuing to be able to open in August.
Commissioners? Yes, please.
I just want to clarify the point where it's a commission discussion versus a discussion with the school. We have to have a motion on the table and then the commission can discuss it without additional input.
No, we can, if we're finished getting their questions and you've got things resolved that you need to ask them, then we can step then into our own discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that's where I'm at. I appreciate the work that you've done and I recognize the work that you've done. Conditions are not aspirational. Conditions were agreed upon by you and the commission.
Can I speak?
Yes, please, Mr. Moore.
So if these conditions that you gave us are deadlines that can't exceed, are we gonna expect every new school have those same conditions that it cannot exceed when they come to you and they don't have one contract signed in the future?
Well,
They can't be any further along than we are.
Matt, that's really not a question. It's more of a
I'm just asking.
threat. But I think we have to take each school at a time. I mean, it's hard to say, well, this is gonna be the conditions for every school going forward. And I mean, each school has their own shortcomings that they need to accomplish. I think the difference is you're the first innovative school. So whatever has happened in the past, always in the past, this is a first one, a new one. So I understand your question, but take issue with the threat.
I'm not taking a threat. I didn't mean that as a threat. I meant, will you, as a procedure matter from here on, demand that all these conditions be met by a certain date, including the last two we had, two new schools? Because I think that would be your philosophy going forward.
Yeah, I can't speak for the commission as a whole.
Sure.
Yes, please.
Just, I would just add to the discussion that the commission will always follow the law. And the commission will always follow the statute. And it looks like Commissioner Amador has his hand raised. I'll let that. Go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Amador.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And some of this may be lost just not being in the room, but I want to make sure that I understand where we're at. From my understanding, there were a couple conditions that were not met. They were expected to be met by June 1st. I think the discussion has been they've been trying to accomplish some of those between June 1st and today. Is there any confirmation as of today, June 11th? Are those fully been satisfied, or are they still in progress? Just help me understand if we've satisfied everything today, or if there's any way to confirm that at this point.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Amador. That's a good question. Director Burke.
Yes, I believe Mr. Durst mentioned that the IT contract has been satisfied.
It has, and so, and the security.
I'm sorry.
Sure.
Have you reviewed the contract?
I have not seen it, no.
Okay.
But the
Satisfied is that we know that we have it.
Mr. Chairman, if Bobby, can you email that to Director Burke, please? We'll have it to you in 30 seconds. You'll have it. We had it last night. It was approved in an open meeting. That was a public record on the record. It's been done. We'll have it ready to roll. We can give it to you in 30 seconds. We'll get to make sure the staff, it is done. Again, that goes back to, I think, what I was trying to communicate before as we're here now, and one of the conditions that was unmet, the piece to that was unmet has been met. And we're not required to provide transportation. We think it'd be good for our kids if we did, but we don't have to. So if the commission says we're going to revoke your charter because of the transportation, I'll just tell you today, we won't offer transportation. That'll stink for our kids. But if that's the decision point the commission has to look at, we'll just tell them we won't. We'll tell the families we're not going to provide that. We'll operate a carpool plan, and we'll just do it that way. Because it's not worth jeopardizing this school so that 195 kids can take a bus, because that's the number that have signed up.
Well, this is harder than just easy 6 months, isn't it?
It certainly is. Tell me,
If I could,
let me, Commissioner Amador, did we get your question answered? Do you have a further?
Sorry, I just realized I need to lower my hand. Sorry about that.
Okay. Yes, please, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, I just, I totally agree with where you're coming from about meeting standards and meeting the timelines and so forth. I've been involved with building openings and new buildings being opened in the West Ada School District. I would tell you this specifically with the IT contract, that I watched the building being demoed, remodeled, and so forth. I was a bit surprised by about the amount of demo that had to take place in the process. And when we had our IT people come through and do the walkthrough, I do agree with the contractor at that point in time. we couldn't have gotten those people in there. The trenches were various, all over the building. And they had to walk through the whole premise because they need to see where the cameras are gonna be, put, the wiring is gonna go and all of that stuff. I totally understand deadlines. We want to meet deadlines. But I just want to speak specifically on the IT. We were trying to make progress, but we ran into a kind of brick wall in regards to getting them in and getting the bids and so forth by that June 1st deadline. We were aware of it and we apologize for not meeting that deadline. When you're doing a demo and a remodel, it's different than building from the ground up. And there's some things that you run into that you just don't realize. So we apologize. But I do believe that we've taken steps forward here. And I do believe that we have met with the IT people and they have given us bids and we have accepted those bids and it's been approved by the board.
Okay,
So
thank you. Mr. Luna?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to say that in my 35 year in law enforcement, I agree what's being said here is that I worked for supervisors that expected the mission to be accomplished within the timeline. And so I can certainly understand what you're all saying. But as the president of the board, it's been, and with my board members, it's been really a tough ride and for all of us and keeping track of all the things that had been done and also making sure that we had communication with our head of school and sports. But it's been really difficult and we even actually communicated with I personally have worked with the Spanish radio in the Treasure Valley to get the word out regarding our school, and I reached out to numerous Hispanic organizations in the Napa Caldwell area also to reach out to the community there. So I've done a lot of work, and so has Mr. Moore and the other board members. And I'm really thankful that we hired Mr. Durst as our head of school and sports. But all I can say, we worked really hard to make this, where we're at today, and I'm happy where I'm at. But thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your comments. Is the goal of this is to create a school similar to the sports academy that's down in St. George? Is that your goal with this?
Mr. Chairman, our goal is to provide a free option that's similar to the sports academies they have in Florida, the IMG Academy, for example. We want to provide students the chance to be able to participate in high-level academic and athletic training that their families otherwise couldn't afford. It goes back to the 30% of students that we have that low income, very high for charter school. We're giving them access to something that they otherwise couldn't have. And I don't want to be dismissive of the conditions. I think they're very important. I think that we've shown that we think they're very important because we've gone to the lengths that we have to try to meet them. I would just be it'd be very discouraging if one IT contract that was signed 9 days later was the thing that ended this last 9 months worth of work. Especially when that contract in particular there were things outside of our control. There was a pipe that had to be removed from the building because it was clogged. We didn't know that when we bought the building. It's just, we're really thankful that the board approved it, that the commission approved us back in August. We took the requirements you set forth to us incredibly seriously. And we have been working overtime since that day to get things in place. And Bobby, have you been able to get that over to them? So you have it in your inbox now. The commission has access to the final contract that was executed last night, engagement letter with the IT company. I mean, I think we're ready to run. We're ready to get done with what we need to do and give these kids a chance to have access to an education that they clearly want. You don't get that kind of demand unless the community wants this. And I think that's really the point of school choice in Idaho, is to provide something that families desire, that they can't get. And because the enrollments we've had are high, mean, I don't know what else. I think we've shown this is a high demand thing. And parents, I mean, we've got families on other parts of the state that have said, we should open one of those over here. Like, I don't know what else to do. I've done the best I can. Maybe it's not good enough, but I've done the best I can.
Any other questions for these gentlemen? Or the important two in the back?
They're the important ones, that is for sure.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and let you take your seats. And we'll have a discussion. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate your being here. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to speak to this item on the agenda? Okay, just want to make, I know we got public comment at the end, but sometimes the end doesn't help a certain item. So, commissioners, thoughts as we ponder this? I mean, I'll start. I think we have to confirm the contract, make sure it's there, that it's active. You know, there's been a lot of work. There's a new situation. We have allowed some allowance in the past. Yeah, we haven't reviewed it. So I guess the other thing, I mean, we either go into revocation or we could give them another. Let me back up for a minute so we can get the right direction. So we call our meeting in August. What effect does that have on you, Mr. Durst?
Mr. Chairman, we have been advised by Ally at the Transportation Department of the state that we can approve a transportation rider on July 23rd. That is the date we're allowed to put it. We have a special meeting that will be called for that date to be able to approve officially so we can get reimbursement on that date. Every other thing is ready to go as of today. So I would say from our perspective, the only thing that would require an extension would be that transportation piece. Everything else is completed from our perspective. It's been ready. I understand the board would like to review the contract that we've got with Ben Connected. But those things are otherwise completed. So there would be no disparate impact on us on this. You know, I don't know when the August meeting is scheduled for. The one thing I would just note is we did apply for the advance payment through the Department of Education for the end of July. Obviously, that would be helpful because of often the 500,000 we got from on through then. If the board was like, I don't let any money out until this happens. The only piece that I would add addition to that would be that it would be our hope that we would be able to still have a letter of standing letter from Director Burke to Bloom, so we can apply for the CSP grant next week. Because that would be really helpful for us. That's not required. Our budget doesn't rely on it, but that money would still be super helpful for us to be able to get some things that otherwise we wouldn't be able to provide for our students.
Okay, thank you.
Does that help for that?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Chairman, please.
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I move we withhold commission approval until conditions 4 and 5 have been met and documented by our staff no later than June 19th this year.
Okay. Do we have a second to that motion? I appreciate that. Commissioner Hedrick.
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. So the motion is that we extend the condition deadline until June 19th.
Essentially, we have to have documentation from the staff.
Right.
We aren't approving it at this point.
Right.
And unfortunately, I've set a precedent for myself of moving target dates. So, anyway.
Okay.
Chairman,
Please.
I think we're getting into dangerous precedent setting waters. And maybe this is a learning experience for everyone, that 6 months isn't long enough. Mr. Durst agreed to 6 months. It's been 10 months. And my responsibility as a commissioner is to abide by the conditions that everyone agrees upon. So I will not be supporting the motion to give him until June 19th.
Okay, thank you. Other Commissioner Wallace?
What would be the repercussions of giving them an extra 15 days? Long-term with other contracts.
Well, this is its own unique situation, so nothing going forward. As I see it, I mean, it's just dealing with the school. We can make our judgments on the schools as we go forward according to their situation. I don't know if that answers your question.
Chairman, another question that I had was on the contract for the building. I didn't see the contract for the building in our materials. Is that correct? Did I miss something?
Sure.
Please.
That's correct. We don't have the purchase contract yet, but they met the condition with the signed PSA by March 1st. That's the documentation that we have.
Commissioner Amador, I don't want to ignore you since you're not in the room. Do you have any thoughts or questions?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know that there's a one size fits all answer to this issue. I understand that, we put certain conditions and we established a deadline of June 1st. But I also understand there's a lot riding on it for students and potential employees. And so, I'm probably will be supporting the motion just because I think there's some opportunity here that we want to help, as much as we can, these schools be successful.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think that, yeah. I think that I appreciate Commissioner Hendrick's motion. It kind of resolves a problem. The consequences for someone's mistake snowballing into a whole lot of other people's problems at this point. So I think that there's some merit there. It's innovative. This first time we've done this type, they will come up for renewal quickly. And there will be things you got to do in your renewal, that they have to meet. So we'll know quickly if they're going to be successful or not, more than so in the past, the other contracts. Any further discussion? Okay, so the motion on the table is to extend the deadline for the conditions to June 19th.
Yeah, next week from tomorrow.
A week from tomorrow. And then upon the the staff affirming that things are in order.
Right, and if they didn't confirm it, then the motion is then it would be approved.
Okay. Do we have a second? Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed?
Nay.
Okay. Motion carries. Thank you, commissioners.
May I make one comment?
Yes, please.
In reference to the comment about holding our standards for everyone, we have never been in this position that a condition was not met in a timely manner.
And I did not think that as a threat, I just making a comment.
Well, it was taken.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask a question for clarification, so I understand the motion is intended to move for our school, is that appropriate?
Okay, so what we'll do we'll have you communicate with Director Burke.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Concerning the motion and what has to happen and revocation if it doesn't happen. Mr. Davis, are we able to? Do we need to have a special meeting after the 19th, or can the motion as it stand take care of a yes or no?
I think the motion works. What was the motion again, to extend the?
To extend it to the 19th, and if it's not there, then it's a no.
Considered revocation, and then the procedures start under the statute for revocation.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Good job. Okay. Pressure's on you, Director Burke. And it all rolls downhill.
Pressure's on them.
Yes. Okay, commissioners, thank you. We do want to acknowledge your work. I mean, you've done a lot of work. And so, please get this other resolved. So we can move forward. You can move forward. Okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman. You don't realize how much people. We actually make personal loans to get it started. The contractors starting the tenant improvements before the permit was issued. And they all agree that if the permit didn't go through, they would keep the cost. So it's
No, I
think about this.
I understand. There's been a considerable amount of effort put into this. And we all hope that you're successful. The students accomplish what you hope that they do. We recognize that and we appreciate it. It's just, we had a timeline.
Right, and I appreciate your problem timeline.
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Mr. Moore.
Thanks, guys, appreciate it.
Commissioners, again, thank you for all your effort on this situation and this item on the agenda. It's one of those challenges that we're grateful for your understanding. Increased charter school support report. Support report,
yes. All right, so the creation and implementation of the Accelerating Public Charter School Act focused on the need to provide additional layers of support for charter schools across the state. After the passage of House Bill 422 in February 2024, funding was appropriated to the State Department of Education to facilitate increased support directed at academically struggling charter schools. The state allocated about $300,000 of one-time funds to create and deliver the support mechanisms to schools identified in collaboration with the IPCSC director. Charter schools supported in the 25-26 school year are Blackfoot Charter, Chief Tagi Elementary Academy, Hayden Canyon Charter, Monticello Montessori Charter, Mountain Community Charter, North Valley Academy, and Peace Valley Charter. The State Department of Education has contracted with Dr. Mary Gervasi to lead selected school leaders in assessing, mentoring, and strategizing a school-wide action plan that will encourage systemic improvements focused on increasing academic outcomes. So this is the year-end report from the participating schools.
A great group.
Yes.
This is wonderful. Talk about great. This is great. Or we get more tree diagrams. Okay, why don't we start here? If you just go down the row and tell us who you are and your school, so we can get it on the record for us.
Jeff Plan, North Valley Academy Charter School.
I'm Stacy Swinwald. I'm from the Department of Education. I'm the School Choice and Parent Engagement Coordinator.
I'm Sita Jiao from Peace Valley Charter School. I'm still nervous.
You always do great, here.
Craig Gerard from Blackfoot Charter School.
Zabajaku, Ninanahu, Jessica Wilson, the Director of School Programs for Chief Tuggy Elementary Academy.
Eric Gonzalez, Business Manager at Chittagee Elementary.
Mary Gervasi, the coordinator of the program. And we should have Dr. Jenny Schoen on screen from.
Hello, I'm Dr. Jenny Sean with Mountain Community Charter School, the head of school.
Great.
And
Thank you all for being here.
thank you for allowing us this time. And Jeannie Johnson, Monticello Montessori, is not able to join us, but I will be speaking for her. And how do I start the slides? Just don't want to blow anything up. Started and then you up there. 2 years ago, Governor Little unexpectedly provided the Commission and the State Department of Education an opportunity to envision a different reality for how struggling charter schools are supported in Idaho. And under Governor Little's leadership, Idaho Code 33-52113, the State Department was handed a transformative mandate: create a program that builds charter school leadership capacity to catalyze student excellence. For the past 24 months, we've built the system and put this vision to the test. Our progress is clear. We've successfully guided 3 schools through a comprehensive 2-year journey and welcomed 4 new schools into the fold for this year. And our pillars that this program was built on is building stronger leaders, stronger boards, and stronger student outcomes. And we did that through mentorship and professional development for building administrative capacity, board governance development for developing our boards, and then also harnessing academic expertise, vetted resources to support increased student achievement. And a quote from one of our participants: "The program enabled us to swiftly pinpoint critical areas of need, provided targeted professional development, high-quality curriculum resources, and dedicated mentoring, which significantly accelerated our improvement timeline and maximized our students' academic outcomes." Let me turn it over to Stacy Svenwald.
Thank you, Mary. My name is Stacy Swanwald, and I'm from the Department of Education. I'm the coordinator for the Increased Charter Support Program and your liaison. I am pleased to share how the program, thank you, how the program funds were allocated and utilized with the graph that you see on the screen. The charter school participating in this program faced a variety of conditions for improvement, including fiscal management frameworks, educational achievement benchmarks in English language arts and mathematics proficiencies, annual administrative reporting requirements, and operational procedures. As shown in the chart, funding was strategically distributed across several focus areas to address the specific needs of each school. Expenditures including ELA and mathematical instructional resources, professional development opportunities for staff and leadership teams, and training for school board members. The $300,000 that was allocated for this program was spent responsibly with a clear purpose, ensuring that each charter school received targeted support aligned with its identified needs and improvement goals. For example, if you look up on the miscellaneous school, it's the green, it's 4%. In that category, there were things like attendance awareness support. If their school is struggling with getting kids to school, you can't educate them. And so their metrics on their ELA and their math scores were down. So that was one of the miscellaneous categories. Otherwise, for like the ELA and mathematics, some of it was curriculum. Some of it was MTSS support. What do you do with those struggling students? And so trying to really get some of the resources in the buildings. And then a lot of it was professional development, having the teachers understand how to help their curriculum or how to help their instructions with their teams. So Mary Gervasi's done a wonderful job to help get resources to these schools, and then these schools implementing the resource and programs that they need for more success. So I want to say thank you for this opportunity to share the positive impact these funds have made on these participating charter schools and the progress they have made as a result of this investment. And I'm going to turn the presentation back to Mary.
Thank you, Stacy. So to understand the true impact, I know all of you want to hear directly from the schools. So we're going to start with the three newest schools this year, starting with Jessica Wilson, leader of Chief Talkie, Jeff Plum, leader of North Valley Charter, and then I'll be speaking for Jeannie Johnson, Monticello Montessori.
Okay, so Chief Tuckey Elementary Academy, you guys have seen us here before, and we were really excited to be able to come here as part of the increased Idaho Charter support. It was important for us to come and say thank you. The funds have really helped support us, and the support we had here is huge and been very impactful. A little bit about our school, as you know, our population served, we're 75 plus low income. 25% of our student population is special education, and 100% of our students are Native American. So they're either enrolled in a tribe or they're descendants of a federally recognized tribe, and we're a rural district. Chief Tuckey is a Shoshone language immersion charter school. So we preserve language, culture, and identity through also delivering high quality academics. But one of the things we really wanted to focus on in this is our student story. So this year, students demonstrated learning beyond just the classroom, which I think is really the goal of charter schools in a way, to have that unique learning where we can think outside the box. We were able to do that through language use, cultural experience, and land-based learning opportunities that really connected our students to education. When we look at this, we kind of know the before, so we won't go there because we had some meetings about that before, but our after, that this year for the Charter School Commission, we met all of our conditions for this school year. So we didn't have to come in front of you for this meeting twice. So I was very excited about that. We're also super excited because we have a new school facility that opened in January. We are fully in our building and operating, and that is huge for us to have a full functioning building, 100%, well, almost 100% paid for by a grant, which means we have absolutely no monthly payment towards a building, which is huge. And then also one of the things that we want to focus on is our school-wide systems for accountability, reporting, and operations established, as we talked about. But I wanted to highlight, oh, my little thing isn't working. Oh, it is there. No, our picture on the bottom, this is in our new school library. So to have a library, these are our fourth grade students holding their books, some of the books that we have for our library. And that's, to me, just one of the biggest accomplishments is our building and being able to see our students in that building. But one of our things that I thought was important is our outcomes were not just to improve the performance, but we built stability. We helped restore confidence in our school and in our community, and hopefully with you guys too. And we strengthen our opportunity for future generations. And that's the ultimate goal of what this program was and able to do for us. So when we're looking at sustaining capacity, for us as a school moving forward, we wanted to focus on kind of that three pillars that we talked about. So our infrastructure and our system, our resource alignment, our professional capacity, our professional capability, what we have. So for our commitment, this work that was funded by the increased charter support isn't just an initiative that while we had it, but this is really us thinking of how as Chief Tuckey we operate now. This changed the foundation of a little bit of who we are. One of the questions as we were coming to the close of this that was proposed by our staff was, what does it also mean to collaborate within our school? We have time for collaboration, but what does that look like? And it had us looking at those kind of questions. And so through this opportunity, it had us branching out, and we were asked by the State Department of Education to help participate in a BARR conference, BARR conference program. And when we went down to that, the state's actually supporting Chief Tuckey Elementary Academy and becoming a BARR school, which will help work on that relationship and establishing those relationships and that collaboration within the school. So super excited at that continued progress there. I also wanted to emphasize right here, this is our students. One of the things we focused on is land pedagogy and our experience of connecting language, history, ecology, and place to students in their cultural learning and experiences, which in turn we can turn to academics. And over here in that far corner is a fifth grader, and he is picking choke cherries, which is a traditional food for the community. And so being able to take our students out to pick those, how do we prepare that food in our new building? We have a kitchen. And so able to prepare that, but we also had 20 choke cherry trees donated to our school, and we planted in front of our school, so we can continue doing that along the way. And I have short time, so I'm going to let you guys all enjoy the pictures, but I'll hurry through so that we have a little bit for everybody. But on the left-hand side, just some recommendations that I have for like things in general, but one of the really focused on this slide is what we as a charter school want to continue to advocate for. As a charter school, when we go out and advocate, we want to explore funding structures that better account for rural high-need school and populations. So really going out and talking to Idaho legislator, why are charter schools important? What are the differences in our charter schools? And really helping understand that's one of our goals to advocate. And also recognize additional needs associated with culturally specific programming. So investing in that long-term support and celebrating the success of culture that makes Idaho charter schools unique. And I think our school is one of those that really shows that and how we operate in a different way than traditional schools can. So in the end, I just want to say thank you to the commission for allowing this opportunity. Thank you to Mary Gervasi, Dr. Gervasi, to bringing us in. I feel like we were able to really make a lot of progress. So thank you. Is there anything you wanted to add to that?
No, I didn't think so.
If you're bored and want to look at our cute student pictures, you can do that.
May I ask a question real quick? I know that when you started and even a little bit later, there was a challenge of getting instructors for your native language. How is that? Is that being accomplished? Are you doing okay with that?
Yeah, so we've had to think outside the box on that one. So initially, we were hoping to hire more full-time language speakers. We have a full-time language speaker. It's hard to get full-time because there's a lot of elders who don't necessarily want to work full-time. So we've kind of changed our approach. We brainstormed everything. We hired a Shoshone program coordinator, Dr. Herkshin. We stole her from ISU, so super excited about that. And through her work, we're working on going out and working with elders to create, instead of full-time employees, we have a rotation of elders that come through our school. So maybe an elder can come in and teach the language on Mondays, but they can't do all week. And so trying to think outside the box on how we can meet those needs, knowing that the language is really held with a lot of the elders, and we have to be able to meet that unique need. And so we're thinking outside the box. So not hiring more full-time teachers, but getting more language speakers in the school to meet that same need. I know, it's exciting.
Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes, please.
have you been in communication with the Coeur d'Alene tribe and how they are managing their preservation of their land?
Yeah, we'll work with them a little bit. So we are part of the STEP program, so the State Tribe Education Program, and they're actually one of the ones that got the grant, and so we are kind of a subrecipient of that grant. So that's opened up communication that way. One of the things we've also talked about is even within advocacy of bringing the tribes of Idaho together to help advocate and talk about what that could look like as far as charter schools or the unique needs of Indigenous scholars.
Please go ahead.
Chairman Reed, Director Burke, Commissioners, thank you so much for allowing us to be here. Very excited. I've been the principal at North Valley Academy for about 8 years now. I was there 6 years before that, where I was teaching math. And in our school creed, our students are strong, proud, and brave. And our elementary kids exemplify that. Our PBIS creed is that we are respectful, honest, and kind. And I think that we show that as we go through our students and what they do for our community and what they do for our school. We're located in Gooding. We bus quite a distance. So we have kids from Gooding County, Jerome County, and Lincoln County that come to us. We opened in 2008. We serve a rural students, especially. We have a large Hispanic population that is growing. Our EL's program is growing as well. We're very similar in demographics to the Gooding School District, which we're really close to. We have seen a little bit of a population decrease in the last year. And when those parents left in their exit interviews, they said they wanted to try and take advantage of the homeschool, private school money. And so we saw a little bit of a decrease in our last year. We focus on classical education. We have what's called our American Heritage Curriculum. Our original founders, and myself included, spent a couple of years building what our American Heritage Curriculum is. And that is a rolling program that works K-12, where we have a patriotic or revolutionary time period hero, and we have our character ed program, and it runs K-12, so our older kids can go support our younger kids with that. It's been an awesome program that we can really teach patriotism about our country and community service as well. We have a very strong strings or orchestra program. All of our students in 4th and 5th grade take our orchestra program, and then they've used that to move forward. And our high school continues to have a good orchestra program as well. We're really proud that we have K-12 K-12 or K-6 PE. Kids really like that, and we pride ourselves on continuing to focus on physical and health for students. And then we have at the high school level, we do what's called our monthly skills activities, our life skills. And so we've taught students how to butcher chickens. We partnered with 4-H to learn how to do gym. We do a lot of sewing programs. We do a lot of wildlife and stuff. We take kids out and get them a little bit more experience. And so we love being able to do that. We've been part of the state's PBIS grant both times around. And so we started about 8 years ago with PBIS. And really have improved in that and love where our school is headed with PBIS. When I think about what we do in the community, we've really done a lot for our community. We have quarterly community service projects that we do, and then we have a rolling community service project. We're really proud of our PLARN mats. PLARN is a weird word. But PLARN is taking plastic bags, we recycle them, we turn them into sleeping mats for the homeless. We've donated them in Boise, Minidoka County, and our biggest one is the Shine a Light Foundation in Las Vegas. Our kids have had the opportunity to take those mats down there. We really are helping the community. The community comes in every other Friday and one Saturday a month, and then our kids do this as well. And we developed over 80 sleeping mats this last year. I actually just got back last week from a trip down to Vegas to donate those mats. So our kids get to see that community service piece, which is really important to us. And then we do have different events that we do throughout the year. We have our fall leaf raking projects. Our kids see that community-minded spirit, which we feel is an important part of patriotism as well. And we are really proud of taking that patriotism piece to the next level. We are the only location in the state of Idaho that has a piece of World Trade Center 1. The World Trade Center Foundation, they have a program where one location in every state houses a piece of World Trade Center 1. We have a piece from floor 93 of World Trade Center 1 when it came down. And so every year we have a very big ceremony to honor and remember the events of 9/11. In Gooding, it's a little challenging because you have to contact the state because there's a highway that runs right through there. So we have to shut down the highway, which makes it a little bit challenging. But emergency services come out and just really promote our veterans. We have a huge Veterans Day program. And then in December, we also do a community breakfast that supports our veterans and our grandparents. So we always bring those people out. Really proud of that. And this year's a big year for us because it's the 25th anniversary. And it aligned right with America's 250th birthday. So we have a big celebration planned for this year as well. I guess for us accomplishments, I'm just so thankful to be part of this program. I wasn't in the original, and Mary had brought us in this year, and honestly, the opportunity to not be siloed was so wonderful. Being in Gooding, I'm sure as the commission knows, I have not been here. My original founders came. There was some tension to start North Valley Academy, if I recall, from what I've heard and read. And so sometimes it's hard to be so siloed and sometimes so alone. You don't have thinking partners. What Dr. Mary has brought to our table is just thinking partners for me to get out of the box. We started with a lot of ideas of how we can work on improvement, and a lot of those things, once we spoke of our connections and what we were trying to do, a lot of people did that for free. So some of the things that we brought in, Dr. Mary helped set it up. So Boise State, the Regional Math Center came in and reevaluated our math program this year. Brought professional development in for our staff. They did that for free, which was amazing. We had a consultant come in and look at our English program. We've done some big additions to our English program in the last 2 years, and the data shows that we've made big gains, but they also found some holes in our curriculum, which was nice. They found a phonics hole that was prevalent in K-6. And so we really addressed that this year. We're really excited. We are bringing on new curriculum for next year. We were able to get some board training as well. Get some legal advice. As wonderful as the Idaho School Board Association is, sometimes they don't always see charter schools for what they are. So we were able to get some additional legal advice on stuff like that. So I feel like we had some great gains in student proficiency. As wonderful as ISAT is, it's hard in a K-12 setting. You don't test every grade. And to me, I want to know how my students are doing K-12. So we do utilize maps. I love maps. It's nationally normed, and I get to see a lot of data because we do benchmark in the fall, the winter, and the spring. And I've seen a lot of growth in my school and my students. I feel like our staff has grown. About 7 years ago, our school improvement coach comes from Arizona. She was assistant superintendent of Phoenix United, Phoenix Union School District, so a very big school district. And she came on as our school improvement coach, and she really focused on Marzano's work in the understanding of essential standards and a guaranteed viable curriculum. I thought it was interesting. Before the state really started doing the work on essential standards, I had my staff doing professional development around it. And I feel like I was a little bit ahead of the curve, and then all of a sudden fell behind. The state did all this work and they just leapfrogged ahead of us. And we've continued to do some of that work. And it has really pinpointed my staff to see what standards were most important in teaching. And I think that has also benefited where our data and our numbers rise when it comes to testing. That is a small graph, and I'm really sorry, or a small table for numbers. But I will talk about some of the things. What's important to me is seeing how many of our students in MAPS testing is above the national norm. So when we look nationally, there's a lot of kids nationally and where we're sitting. And I have a kindergarten class that is 82% above the national average. When it comes to math, I have a kindergarten class that's 71% the national norm in reading. As I go through my grades, most of my grades are above the national average by quite a bit. And I love the growth that we're getting. This doesn't fit a full picture for me though. We have a lot of kids that transfer in and out. As our school has been here since 2008, some of the calls that I get from Jerome, from Wendell, from Gooding is, if your kid's doing bad in our school, send them to North Valley. They're more structured. They can handle the bad kids. And we get kids that come to us looking at us as an alternative school. And we're not an alternative school. We just have a lot of structure in our school. And sometimes we get students that are coming to us 2-3 grade levels behind. And I feel like that's very hard when it comes to ISAT data, when it comes to MAP, when you're looking at the grade. So my next table is really, it's our cohort, students who have stayed with us at least 2 years. And I think that's really important data. So they've been in our system, they've seen our system, and my kindergarten to first. So the kids that stayed with us, we saw a 43% increase in proficiency. Almost every single grade, I've seen huge jumps. My 5th graders to 6th graders this year was a 44 point increase. That was a 62% increase in proficiency. So the kids who have been in our system that aren't just jumping in and out to change charter schools or change public schools, we're seeing some real growth and benefit. And I love what my staff is doing. They're very focused on it. And ISAT data is great, but I love the K-12 picture. So that way I can see every single grade. I have some teachers, my 7th grade, or my English teacher teaches 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So she has the entire gambit. So it's good to see where her data is. Same with my math teacher. And so we are a small school, but we have a lot of teachers that are pulling their weight. The money this year has helped us to stay focused in some areas, and I really appreciate that. Meeting with the group of educators sitting here today, meeting with Dr. Mary has helped me to have thinking partners, so that way I could be broad-minded. Sometimes I do a lot of subbing. I've had to teach a lot of times when we've had staff members leave. You get really narrow-minded in your focus, and you sometimes don't see the big picture. And so this group has been extremely helpful. The State Department's been very helpful. And I just can't thank you guys enough for the money that we've got. For me, some of the things that we need, and I think for sustaining some of this, is really that professional development piece. Teachers can come in with the best of intentions. They can have a strong work ethic. But if we don't provide what is best practices in the current environment, don't provide that professional development, it's really hard for us to move the bar with students. And I think teachers are the biggest movers of kids. It doesn't matter what technology you purchase. It doesn't matter what curriculum you buy. If you don't have teachers that are well developed, ready to teach the material, you're not going to get anywhere. So I think professional development is huge. Using data, we go over our data very extensively. And that's one thing I've really focused on as a principal at the school. We used to collect data. That was great. I don't know that we did anything once we collected data. We just had it. And now we've been collecting it and using it for tier 2 intervention and for all of our programs moving forward. And I think that's important. And then just using the staff, we have weekly collaboration where we meet every week. My 7th through 12 meets, we go over every single student that we have in the building. And then the next day, my elementary staff meets. And just knowing where our kids are at, I think every student has a story. Charter schools are about competition, yes, but it's also about the ability to care for kids. And we can care for kids at a very unique level. When we talk about them every single week, we have unique relationships with our students that allow us to really help their needs. When I think about what it means for us, for a recommendation, charter schools are expected to meet the same standards as traditional public schools, in my opinion. We follow state law, we follow everything the State Department asks for, we follow the stuff that the Charter Commission wants us to, and I applaud that, I appreciate that, but it seems like we're up against the wall sometimes when it comes to finances, especially when we're not funded the same way that traditional public schools are. And I think that's hard because you see charter schools in general doing more with less. And I just think that's a really tough position to be in. It feels like the state of Idaho believes that charter schools are going to get enough money through their support units that they're able to sustain, but that's not held true for traditional public schools. They believe that bonds and levies are an important part of how traditional public schools run, but that's not held the same for charter schools. And so it's a really interesting to think about. Charter schools have to find other ways to get the money in, and that is a huge stressor. I feel like I want to be the most supportive principal to my teachers, to my students as possible. And yet you have to spend a lot of time, extra time, I feel like, worrying about the budget. We do keep a strong budget. I have a great business manager that helps with that. But that's my biggest recommendation. School choice is so important for Idaho. School choice is about doing what's best for kids. And when we look at what's doing what's best for kids, I believe that competition is huge in that sense. So we can't have a place where competition isn't equal. We can't have a place where competition is oversaturated. And so I think that's important to think about all of those pieces when you look at charter schools. And I just appreciate all the time. And if you guys have any questions, I'd be happy to take questions.
Mary. Next for Jeannie. Jeannie Johnson was able to join us, so I will do my very best to represent her. And you heard from her school this morning, actually. So Monticello Montessori serves K-8. They opened in 2010. Student ratio 18-1, and their population served, two of the specifics she pulled out were low-income families, 58%, and students with disabilities, 17%. And the mission, as you know, is focused on authentic hands-on Montessori education. But the distinct features, I think, are worth noting: a whole child approach, mixed-aged classrooms. The Idaho content standards are the foundation upon which the Montessori pedagogy is built. Extended time blocks for student work, and then Montessori certified teachers, and then specialized hands-on materials. And to the left, I think it's really interesting to look at the enrollment over time, just in the last 5 years. And going on to the next slide, that enrollment, I think, is even more significant, considering that 5 years ago, 2021, the commission had issued indication that there were troubled waters, using Jeannie's terminology. And there were these specific troubled waters in terms of corrective actions that the school was required to remedy. And I just want to note that Jeannie came on board that first year as the leader of the school. And as a result of the information from the commission, corrective action needed to be taken, and speedily. And so Monticello's leadership totally redid their strategic plan and made sure that they had a goal addressing every indication that was not being met by the commission. And we're happy to report that mission accomplished. The strategic plan has been 100% accomplished, and the renewal conditions have been 100% accomplished in just the last 5 years. And you probably noticed this. We wanted to make sure just to remind you that Idaho Ed News listed Monticello in one of the top 10 most improved charter schools over the last 5 years. And I think that's a testament not only to keep clear targets and direction from the commission, but also clear targets that the strategic plan addressed, and then strong, capable leadership. And then just moving forward, Julie wanted to say that, of course, the next 5 years, they're building their next strategic plan now. And they want to continue on the trajectory that they've started with providing staff and board development. And then also upgrading materials, which they were able to do this year through the program funds. And then now they're embarking on actually expanding their facilities because they are landlocked in terms of enrollment. So the next work that they're doing is working with a possible USDA loan to expand facilities. So fasten your seatbelts, and I'm sure there'll be more to come. So now I would like to just ask our 3 leaders from our returning schools to briefly present, starting with Dr. Jenny Sean, leader of Mountain Community, then Craig Gerard, leader of Blackfoot Charter, and Sita Chung, leader of East Valley. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hello, thank you everyone, and I apologize that I can't be there in person. I'm Jenny Sean with Mountain Community School. Mary, you can go to the next slide, or whoever's got control. Thank you. So we are an itty bitty charter school, grades K-8, with about 50 students in enrollment. We are in a remote area, in a rural area, and we just completed our 4th year of operation. We are the only school of choice in Valley County, serving schools from the McCall, Donnelly, and Cascade school districts. And the focus of our school is place-based education. So we really try to hone in and celebrate on the mountains that we live in, and utilizing things that are going on in our area to formulate our curriculum, especially the interdisciplinary approach, to then extrapolate out to what's happening in the world at large. And next slide, please. The biggest areas that we focused on with the support of increased charter support, both this year and last year, was to increase my capacity as new admin, also with a new office manager, and then to really bolster and enrich our math and ELA curriculum. And on the next slide, thank you. You can see the impact of what's highlighted in yellow there from our work during increased charter support. So we really redid our daily plan for ELA curriculum, as well as provided a lot of training and support for our teachers, especially with our early readers. And a lot of that came from SMART from the State Department. And then we also purchased new math curriculum to change how we were teaching math. We do use combo classes. So there's a lot of hurdles to figure out how to target all of our students and their learning needs. And so you can see for on the left there, our IRI scores, we had our highest score rating this year. Being small, one student does make a big difference. We had a student join us at the end, and our scores maybe would have been 88% instead of 81. But we're really excited about the growth that we saw. And for ELA, math, and science with the ISAT scores, and this is unofficial data, of course, but looking at what I can see for their scores, we've had almost a doubling in our math from last year for rates proficiency, and an increase both for math and science. And we do have a bit higher percentage of students that are on IEPs or 504s than our neighboring districts. So that creates some unique challenges for us as well. But being small, we're able to really focus on our students and what their needs are. Next slide, please. This just kind of shows the growth with our math. So we switched to using iReady. That kind of skinnier, fainter line below shows where our students were in the fall. And if you focus just on the green and you look at the line above, you can really see the growth that we had from our students using this curriculum this year in their being on grade level and proficient. And then on the next slide, getting at our sustaining for capacity. So really just continuing on with what we've really built and how we've overhauled both how we teach our ELA and our math, really focusing on a lot of the things that other teachers have mentioned as well, using that data effectively and efficiently, meeting as a team, reevaluating how we can support our students and what their needs are. And then continue to reach out to the people that we have at the State Department and throughout the state to help support us. We're very much an island in our location, but as all charter schools, we're island in our models and what we do. And on the next slide, kind of going at the goals of what I think we need for charter schools in Idaho moving forward is just a pipeline to connect those islands together. There are a lot of incredible resources that are available in the state and amazing people doing phenomenal things, but it's really easy to not be aware of how we can connect to others, who to connect to, or even where to begin. And so my recommendations, since increased charter support is rounding out its end of its time. I know for me personally, I would have been lost without this program. I came into the role of admin in December of the previous school year, not the one we just finished, the one before that. And there's so much, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I'm amazed at how many resources there are and how many amazing leaders we have. But having a way to help unite us all and bring us together is something that is paramount to the success, I think, of any new charter school and any struggling charter school, or perhaps any charter school, period. I would love to see something that has greater support for schools with 1 to 2 year month, a commitment of 1 to 2 years of monthly meetings to just check in with each other. I think there's a lot of ways when we open as new charter schools, we have all these grandiose ideas of things that we want to accomplish and provide for our students, but sometimes we're not really aware, again, of what we don't know. And we need people to verify and vet against our plans to make sure that we're able to pull off what we're hoping to, and to help us when we stumble and we're unclear on how to move forward. I think the increased charge support has been just instrumental in our success academically, as well as just internally. I had so many parents come to me at the end saying that at the end of the school year, saying how different this year felt and how happy their students were and what a great year. And I think so much of that is just knowing what I've learned from increased charge support and having the support that we had from Dr. Mary and everyone else on the team. I'm so grateful to you all and thankful for being a part of this program these last 2 years. And I really hope that we have something similar to offer for future charter schools and moving forward. Thank you.
All right, so this is our final report for the increased charter support program. I'm sorry, I'm Craig Gerard. We've been in the program for 2 years, working with Mary and lots of other folks to kind of push things forward. So today we're going to kind of talk a little bit about what we've accomplished and kind of where we're at. So Blackfoot Charter serves from the K to 8 about 450 students in rural Blackfoot, Idaho. Over half of our students are low income. We also serve a significant population of students that qualify as foster or McKinney-Vento. We have a 22% Hispanic or Latino population, and about 4% of our students are Native American. Beyond that, we are a STEAM school built on brain-based learning principles. So instruction is designed around how students actually learn. And that's kind of the way the brain develops and how they pick up knowledge as they go. All students receive individualized intervention and enrichment, and that's supported through PLCs, weekly collaborations, and relevant professional development for the staff. And then like Jeff, as a PBIS school, we've been in that program for about 8 years now as well. We focus on teaching positive behavior, not just reacting to their negative behavior. So over the past 2 years, our work has been focused in 4 key areas: academics, enrollment, leadership, and behavior. Each area has seen measurable data-supported growth over those 2 years. It kind of falls in a weird spot there on the screen, but since the 22-23 school year, both ELA and science have each seen a 10% increase in proficiencies. Math has seen an 8% increase in proficiency, and our IRI scores have increased by 29% in 4 years. Finishing this year at 72% actually placed us ahead of the state averages, and was our best year in the IRI since my records go back to 2017, and we haven't achieved anywhere near that level since then. So great accomplishments this year as far as that goes. As far as other measures, jumping into attendance and enrollment. So we were one of the attendance notes that Stacy kind of mentioned earlier, and made a huge impact. Our chronic absenteeism dropped by 20%. Our ADA is up 2%, impacting our bottom line across the board. And then you can see our enrollment since 22-23, we've had a steady increase in enrollment. of about 100 students over the course of that. And for next year, we're projecting yet another year of growth at 466. So enrollment's looking great. That kind of reflects some good community trust and effective outreach that's taking place at the school. As far as sustaining capacity, everything we've built is designed to last without relying on continued external funding, which I think was kind of the ultimate goal as we're going through this program. Data, professional development, mentorship, and intentional scheduling are all embedded into how we operate daily. We've built systems supported by building administration, driven by staff leadership and their teams that have laid the groundwork for long-term changes to stay in place and continue to be effective long into the future. As far as strategic recommendations, just some things that I have kind of thought of over the years. Charters need proactive support before they reach crisis. And I think a lot of us kind of run into those scenarios where things might be worse than we realize when you're in there and kind of working in the trenches, so to speak. And I think this program gave us as a group the ability to kind of step back and take a more holistic view of what was going on and really dive into the root causes of what was happening there. Evaluation should account for the unique populations that charters serve. A side-by-side with traditional districts sometimes misses the very real reasons why families choose to come to a charter in the first place. Family satisfaction and their voice is a meaningful and underutilized performance metric that I think we could take a lot of great notes from. And a support first approach to oversight helps to benefit schools and students alike across the state. And I think this program gave us that ability as a group to really address things in that way. Lastly, I just want to thank the legislature, Governor Little, Mary, Rachel, Stacy, and all of you, the commissioners, for providing funding for and allowing us to participate in this program. We've met so many amazing and helpful people during this process, built relationships that will help us continue to improve long into the future. And I'm hopeful that a version of this program may be restored in the future and be allowed to carry forward to help benefit all of Idaho's students. Let's see, this is my 7th year as the director of the school, and I can confidently say that it's the best holistic year that we've had since I came on board. Staff, everybody's done a fantastic job. Sita, you're up.
So I am Sita John from Peace Valley Charter School. So our school is Peace Valley Charter School in Boise in Treasure Valley. We are K-8 school. We have around 200 students. We are open since 2018. Our education focus is world of education. It was well known as a whole child education, experience education. Now we believe education that should be teaching the hand, heart, and the head, which is practical skill, hands-on learning, social emotional health, and art, music, human connection, critical thinking, and academic growth. Now, the first private Waldorf school opened in 1919, which is 100 years ago. But the first public Waldorf school didn't open until 1991, which is 35 years ago. Peace Valley opened in 2018. We are one of the 60 public Waldorf schools that exist in US. Now, there's always a tension that at asking, can Waldorf school exist in the public school setting? Can we bridge these two worlds of education together? And that's why Peace Valley has been struggling for the beginning 6 years, because we are not able to bridge these two worlds. Believe it or not, when I just started the job, there are lots of people telling me, Sita, it is too hard. You can't do it. There's two different worlds. They are speaking two different languages. You can't do it. Well, my answer is always, grew up in Taiwan. I speak Mandarin. Hangul is my mom language. Taiwanese is my Taiwan language. I didn't learn English until I was 10 years old. So I do know a little bit how to speak two languages and live in two worlds. I know it can be done. We just need to work harder. We cannot shoot for two targets and hope we can hit one. It need to be one target, or we just wasting our energy. So the image I usually bring to my staff is, imagine we are a mangrove tree, that we live between where river coming out and meet the ocean, that we absorb salt water and fresh water, and we can root out deep root and create our own ecosystem. And then from there, we can make sure we keep the wonder of the childhood, the imagination of the children, and also the human connection in world of education, yet open for all the public school students and hold Idaho standard and accomplish student achievement. Then that is our goal. But our situation is difficult, and you all know that. And there is why I'm so appreciative with the increased charter program. Rachel, Stacy, and Dr. Mary, they came and support our school in the very difficult time. That I am firmly believe that the one force that is actually truly able enough to impact a student is another human being. That's why we start our program with lots of professional development. So start from our leadership and our governments, we build a good, strong school assistant. We build a positive PBIS program for the first time this year. And then we build the teacher capacity and student achieve growth along with that. And because everything that we do, we also follow accreditation process. We did finish our accreditation exit interview on April 27th. And I tell Dr. Galen, which is our evaluator, did I get it? And I keep hanging then him like, Galen, if I didn't get it, I'm going to cry. Then he said, well, see that you can save your t-shirt. Said, how about, what do I tell my community? Just say you feel good about it. It's not good enough. How about the charter commissioner? I'm gonna meet them. This is my second year and the 5th time I meet them. I want to finish the 4th cycle. He finally tell me, well, just tell them I see no reason you are not going to get your accredited. Then I keep bugging that. He said, how about the report? So finally, they sent me the report Tuesday evening. That's why it's not making on the slideshow. I printed the last page that 2 years ago, 2023, our IEQ score is 144. But after 2 years, not only we double it and we have more. So we got accredited without needing any improvement. And so that is an evidence that we will earn our accreditations after they blow me. So as far as our academic achievement, this is our K-3. Now last year when I come back, so the blue is the IRI fall and the green is IRI spring. As you all know, Peace Valley always show regression. Until last year, that's the first year we show growth. Now this year, that's the first time we reached over the 51%. Now this year we are showing 60% from the K to A, which is highest in our school history. As far as the ISET data, so from 2023, that is the average year. From last year, we grew to 40%. And this year, though it's not official, but based on the result, we are 55%. Also, based on the page number 3, we are highest ever. So how do we sustain this system? Well, the wise man once said, don't give a man a fish, teach him how to fish it. So that's why we focus so much on professional development, that we build our capacity. Now, once we have learned, we know how to do it. We are going to keep our system and improve each year. And we are going to work with other institutes. Like I'm going to continue joining Math Leadership Academy, Impact Math. We are going to work with BSU Math Region Center, BSU After School Tutor Program. We are just going to keep improving and math is my second biggest goal because I know I'm going to come back 2018 for my license. So I will make sure I have a great result. So as far as a recommendation, I really think one day this program can come back because they did show up in the timing that our school needed the most. But the other suggestion is maybe charter school can meet together. We all have different resources. We all have different strategy. Right now, charter school, we have IPC meeting once a year in June. But if we have monthly meeting, different topic, different resource, maybe that can open the door that we communicate more because each charter school is its own ecosystem. So I strongly believe with the support and changing a school can turn around, just like Peace Valley Charter School. And with deep gratitude, this is my 5th time. I finished my 6-month cycle every year for 2 years. I truly thanks for all the commissioner and chairman and director that believe in Peace Valley Charter School, giving us the chance to grow and learn and improve. That's why we are still here. Thank you so much.
Great. You guys are all like this.
So the increased charter support program has shown us a different reality is within our reach for how we ensure Idaho charter schools are supported. And we believe, and I think you heard today, the program has validated that moving away from just regulatory support to a model of proactive coaching, early intervention, and targeted support is not only vastly more effective for student outcomes, but it's also a far more responsible stewardship of Idaho's resources. And so just to remind you, we've accomplished these successes, not me, but these courageous leaders have accomplished these successes in 3 ways. One is an accelerated timeline, which I know you all as commissioners deal with that. Change needs to happen soon and immediately. And so we've taken that timeline and rather spreading it out over multiple years, have the schools identify what are those critical targets that they need to focus on and have an impact now, immediately, within a year's time. And then we targeted resource deployment. We tried to match appropriate resources and expertise with the needs of the schools to help them move the needle forward in those few goal areas they identified. And then also, and you heard that from my colleagues, that we really tried to reduce administrative isolation by providing mentoring, providing experts, providing opportunities to discuss and learn together so that they're not alone and they're figuring out compliance with good, sound guidance. And so the question I think that this leads us to is how can Idaho scale these early successes? And we all realize the program was not funded again this year. And just a reminder that Rachel's the one that discovered that the funding came from your coffers, the commission's coffers, even though we didn't realize that the first year. We just thought it was sort of manna from heaven that appeared during the legislative session. And we are most appreciative that a funding source was found. But so we believe that we can architect a system that uses 3 prongs, 3 tiers of support. And these are not new ideas. There's other states that are using these. So we have exemplars out there to add to our quiver. But the first tier would be establishing a year 0. So that's scaffolded support before a school even opens. So that means that once the commission even approves a school, there are benchmarks that that school and that board need to follow through during year zero so that we are maximizing their chances of success when they do open. And so, for example, Texas has a cohort where there's monthly planning benchmarks that potential schools have to meet. And they provide not generic onboarding, they provide specific onboarding. So school administrators get mentorship and specifics on what they need to know to run a charter school. Business managers get what they need, and boards get what they need. So we're not waiting for the school to open and for the leaders to build capacity in the process. We're baking that in before the school even opens. So that would be the tier 1 support, ground zero or year zero. Then tier 2, I use the term the early warning system because I think we're all familiar with that research. But the Colorado model uses this, and it's shifting from grading a failure after it occurs to preventing it from occurring initially. So that tier 2 support looks at 2 things. One is the data, so that we have some sort of an early indicator of distress dashboard that then kicks in specific supports. So as soon as we see that schools are in distress with enrollment drops, academic stagnation, fiscal mismanagement, then proactive coaching triggers. And the flag's raised, and then specialized coaching and technical assistance is then provided to see if we can move the needle and get that school back on sound territory. And Colorado's already doing this. And then tier 3, this is to address schools that are persistently low achieving, which unfortunately we do know that those do exist. And in this instance, Idaho would deploy a rapid response network modeled after Colorado. And what Colorado uses is they have a team of experts, charter, fiscal, board experts that go into a school, and they do an audit, an assessment, and then come up with recommendations and findings. So that's the baseline. We call it, we've called it sort of a HIT team, but it's an intensive on-site diagnostic process. And it's the last tier, last approach to try and turn a struggling school around by using expertise. And so that's kind of the vision that I have, that we've got these 3 tiers of opportunity to support schools, start them much stronger than they're starting. And then at the least indication of struggling, intervene wisely. And then one last opportunity when it does seem like the ship is sinking, it's going in the wrong direction, the roof's leaking, whatever the analogy is. And so these tiers could be activated by the commission as the data indicates. But what's really interesting is to avoid an inherent conflict of interest where the authorizer is grading their own coaching. Colorado has a model where they contract out for these support services. So the commission raises the flag, which alerts the outside contractor to then provide the support. So that's one model that I thought might be something that we could benefit from. And it's obvious that we have incredible resources in our state. It's just coordinating and bringing them together and making sure that people are connected with the resource they need at the time that they need it. And you heard that from a variety of our leaders today. So 2 years ago, we were handed this unexpected opportunity to envision a different reality. Today, thanks to the grit of these leaders and their schools and their community, to the commission, to the State Department of Education, and to strategic stewardship of these resources that we were given, We've shown that proactive support can work. We've turned around schools in 1 year and in 2 years, just by being wise and using resources wisely. And so the data and the stories that we shared today really underline proactive coaching, early intervention, and targeted support are vastly more effective, and it's a far better use of Idaho's resources in providing successful options for our students. And so the ultimate goal shouldn't be to grade a failure we could have prevented, right? Our goal should be to guard student success from the moment a charter is even conceived. And by implementing an early learning system, by building in robust year zero mandates and supports and benchmarks, and then utilizing a structured peer review process for tier 3, we can protect the state's investment, but also serve our students well. And we've got national blueprints. I mentioned Texas and Colorado. Those are the two that I felt were the strongest. And then we've got our local infrastructure, including Nanette Merrill from the Idaho Charter School Association, the Bloom Foundation, the State Department of Education and their myriad of resources, the commission staff, and ISBA, and our local universities. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel. We just have to commit to the vehicle. So commissioners, Governor Little gave us the mandate to catalyze student excellence. We've shown you the momentum, the faces, and the return on the investment. Let's not let the momentum stall. Under your direction and leadership, let's assemble a working group to make this comprehensive support system the permanent reality for Idaho. Let's not just have a system to authorize schools, let's intentionally architect their success from day zero, from day one. Thank you for your support and time today. Thank you to my colleagues. I will miss you, but I'm in your lives forever. So you just call on me if you need me. I'll be looking forward to your continued success. And please, if you have any thoughts or questions for myself and my colleagues, we'd be happy to advocate. Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful. Need to excuse.
I need to leave, and I have to say this, in 15 years of being on the commission, this has just been so inspiring and so beneficial. And I was involved with the capacity builders with my work with the university. I thank Rachel for making the connections to get this going. And hearing from you today was just such great validation. I had to stay, but I now have to run to friends and soccer tournament in another state. But thank you guys, this was great. I really.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
She made a real sacrifice to be here today, so we appreciate her flying around the country to get to a meeting. Mr. Amador, I'm trying not to leave you out. Anything that you have? Okay. Okay. No, we've seen a lot of you that we figured was not going to make it, over the years. And I probably was one of those that thought, they need to close. But this is just a miracle, the reality of the miracle of training and helping and mentoring and the truly ability that you really had, but just needed to come out. That's what I think is really wonderful. So congratulations, all of you, Commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, to commend all of you for the hard work you've done and the State Department of Education, and obviously the governor's effort to provide these funds. I agree with your tiers that we need those things to happen. At the ISBA convention, Coeur d'Alene, Rachel was giving a workshop and somebody said, why doesn't the commission train everybody? I said, she has 5 people. How are you going to do that? It starts with you folks at the local area talking to your legislators and telling them we need money and resources and people to make these things happen. And, you know, it's a struggle with education every year at the legislature, but if you talk to those people and talk about your successes, that will help provide us some vehicles to make some of these things happen.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Wow,
you.
this is great. Good way to end the meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you all. We appreciate your time and effort to be here. Thank you. Okay. Hopefully. Yeah, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, so just.
We're not quite. Public comment? Anything on the list? Anybody out there online? Okay. All right, commissioners, thank you for all your effort. And we appreciate all you've done today with this discussion of all these items. Meeting's adjourned.